Well, both countries stay in power, both regimes stay in power through very powerful intelligence and state security apparatus. That's really their top tool for staying in power and for advancing and for staying ahead of us. So they take advantage of us in open societies, and they take advantage of the fact that people are lonely or just want to have a good time or need company or whatever else, and they do what's been done since biblical times. They use sex as a weapon. Several years ago, I was in Poland at an event dealing with strategic minerals, and there were some people who were interested in what I had to say. And afterward, a young, attractive, maybe 25-year-old Chinese woman came up and she expressed great interest in what I was doing. She was working for the Polish government, and she gave me her card. And if she was working for the Polish government, I was happy to talk to her. And then we walked outside the venue and walked back to the hotel area where the participants were staying. And she had short sleeves on, and she said she was cold, and she grabbed my arm. And so just to be polite, I kind of went along with it. And then when we got to the hotel area, she kindly invited herself up to my room. And then I looked at her and I said, no 25-year-old woman is going to want to be hanging around me for that kind of thing. You're a spy. And so I left her. And I immediately went to the Polish authorities, told her this person who had a Polish government email address was a Chinese spy, what she was trying to do, and they threw her out of the country within days. Sure, everything's fair. In espionage, really anything's fair. But in Chinese espionage or in Russian espionage, more than everything is fair. So at least on the American and the Western side, we do have some sorts of boundaries, although I'm sure that the CIA uses these types of traps also. In this case, though, it's much more systematized on the Russian and the Chinese sides, where there are actually schools for training young men and young women in becoming sex spies. So they put you through it. In fact, in Russia, in near the city of Kazan, there's a whole academy for this with a model American town, and they do the pickup part, the making them feel important part, the playing to their ego part. Who's the lonely geek behind the computer who doesn't have a life? Who's the lonely bureaucrat who doesn't have a life? Who's the person who's brokenhearted because of how things are at home? Or the socially awkward person, or just the person who wants to go out and have a good time? And how do you play to their securities and their insecurities and so forth? And then boom, you make the catch. Now, the Russians will generally do it for blackmail purposes or for some sort of co-optation purposes. In general, that's changed over the years. The Chinese do it to build emotional relationships on the part of their American targets, male or female. So you build up an emotional relationship there and not simply a blackmailable type of thing. Because face it, it's harder to blackmail people for sexual activity now than it ever was before. So you go for the emotional, psychological side.